Welcome to the Real Estate Pros Show, where we interview real estate investing professionals from coast to coast, as well as the service providers that serve the real estate investing industry. Our goal is simple: share what's working now to help you improve and scale your business to the next level and meet the pros that can help you get there. Real Estate Pros is powered by Investor Fuel, America's leader in helping real estate investors and professionals build the business you need to live the life you've always dreamed of. Let's start today's show. Property insurance for real estate investors doesn't have to be difficult, but it does need to be there to protect you when you need it. MyInvestorInsurance.com not only provides insurance at 15 to 30% cheaper than traditional agencies, it's built specifically for real estate investors like you. You can set up an account in about 2 minutes, get quotes on properties, turn on and turn off insurance for your fix and flip or rental properties in around 2 minutes without having to talk to anyone directly, all through our portal. There's no better way or faster way to make sure you've got the coverage you need to protect you, and no more lengthy policies either. Once you're set up, you're billed monthly and prorated by the day for however long your policy is active. It's powered by MSI, the third largest independent MGA, with 1.5 million customers and more than $1 billion in cumulative premiums written. Get set up today in about 2 minutes at myinvestorinsurance.com/fuel.
Welcome back to the show, where we interview the nation's leading real estate entrepreneurs. If you're joining us for the first time, you're in for an absolute treat today. And if you're joining us for the second, third, or 100th time, you're also in for a treat. It's your host, Stephen Schmidt, and I'm here with Rodney Miller. And today we're going to be talking about the elusive topic of how to get your money working for you to where it's passive, from an active real estate business into that so desired place where you can actually be creating some passive income through it. Rodney's been in the real estate business for over 20 years, has a wealth of knowledge, and primarily is focusing on hard money lending in the Oklahoma and Texas markets now, but has a wealth of knowledge across all niches within the real estate sector. So, Rodney, welcome to the show today.
Thanks for having me.
You're absolutely welcome. And just remember, before we get started, at Investor Fuel, we help real estate investors, service providers, and real estate entrepreneurs 2 to 5x their businesses, which allows them to build the businesses they've always wanted, to allow them to live the lives they've always dreamed of. Rodney, tell us how you got started in this game, man. Give us a little bit of context and how you got to where you're at now today.
So I had a business. I'm from Texas, but I bought a business in Oklahoma City, totally unrelated. It's a medical business. I'm not a doctor. Back in like 94, before you were born, probably, I'm sure. Yeah, before you were born.
I didn't say that.
Anyway,
that's close to my birth year, but I'm not going to say if it's plus or minus.
Yeah. All right. So, and I ran it for a while, and then I got married, had kids, and my wife didn't like me going to Oklahoma City from Dallas all the time. So we moved to Oklahoma City so I could run that business. But I decided I was going to also take on. I was in my late 30s, early 40s. I mean, pushing 40, and I didn't have any retirement, so I started freaking out. I have no retirement, and I have no real plan. Maybe sell this business someday. So I decided to get in the real estate business. I was going to learn real estate. So I became a franchisee of We Buy Houses, which is kind of, I don't know if it was new at the time, but they were run out of Dallas and they were starting to franchise everywhere. And so I bought that I knew nothing about flipping houses, knew nothing about houses or real estate investing. And I got kind of a crash course from them and was off to the races and started wholesaling houses. After about a year, I didn't like the franchise model. It's too corporate. So I got rid of the franchise model and just started doing my own thing. And I just wholesaled a lot and then got tired of that. It was just kind of like a job. So I just started accumulating rental property, and I accumulated 110 houses over a fairly short amount of time, maybe 3 or 4 years. And then started moving into other things over time, multifamily syndication, like everybody and their dog is doing that now, but multifamily syndication, just recently started doing some industrial builds, some land subdivides. I find people that know what they're doing, and I kind of give them the money, and we kind of partner. We do like joint ventures, but hard money lending, my favorite thing. I've been loaning money for the last 10 years, but I got really serious about it about 5 years ago. And that is where my passion lies. Loaning money to people.
Stop living on an island and join the #1 mastermind in America for professional real estate investors. Investor Fuel is a community of hundreds of the nation's top investors working together to build stronger businesses and better lives. In addition to the amazing community of real estate investors acting as a board of advisors for one another, Investor Fuel members have access to 100% funding on purchase and repairs for our members only, a health insurance program, and benefits and discounts that more than pays for the membership of most of our members, meaning it's actually costing you money to not be a member of Investor Fuel. If you're looking to scale your business and build a business that allows you to live the life of your dreams, please visit investorfuel.com today and book a call with our team.
It's just probably one of the funnest businesses in the world. So,
everybody that I speak to that's in hard money says the same exact thing. What makes getting to that point where you're no longer having to actively go do the deals, you're just giving cash to a good operator to be able to actually get in, get out? Are you doing equity splits? Like what makes it so good from your perspective as somebody that doesn't want to be actively like flipping a property on site, all that anymore?
Yeah, if we do equity splits, but pretty much I'm a lender. So,
okay.
I like to bring 20% down on a deal. Sometimes, if you're a really seasoned investor, 15% down. So, I like people have skin in the game and all that, but it's just, if you've accumulated some capital and you want to start, I'm in a mastermind of lenders. I just got back from Charleston, South Carolina, and most of the private money lenders, hard money lenders, start off as real estate investors. And then a buddy asks them for a loan, or they see another guy that's struggling getting a project off the ground, and they'll loan them the money. And they're like, well, shit, that was easy. They get a good, oh, sorry, don't mean to cuss, man.
No, you're good.
So to say that, but that was easy. And then they do another one, and they're like, flipping houses is fun, and wholesaling's okay, but loaning money is really easy. So they get more into the loaning money, and a lot of guys pivot and just go straight to loaning money. And, you can loan your own money, but a lot of people think you've got to be a rich multimillionaire to loan money, but you don't. Like, you can go find investors, and you can loan money at 13 and 3 points, 30% interest. And then you can find investors that want to get a 10% return. And so you just do the loan, sell them a note, 10%, you service the note for them, and then you work off the spread. And that's what a lot of people do.
Right. Yeah, I actually was I was that exact person until probably the last 6 to 12 months, where I just thought, like, man, if you're doing hard money, that means you made it. You know what I mean? And you're trying, like, you've got so much cash, you're just trying to get rid of it so it keeps going and working, so it's not just sitting in a bank account, not accumulating.
Sure.
And then I realized, I'm like, oh, wait a second. And for a lack of a better analogy, it's almost like you're just the broker between the money and the flipper, right? It's almost like you're the wholesaler of the money, even, is how I would equate it.
It can be. A lot of guys have their own money in it, or they have a hybrid.
Sure.
Their money, like me, I've got some of my money and some of other people's money. The difference between what I do and being a broker is that a broker gets a call, and then they go try to find somebody with money.
Right.
Lenders, we usually have the money, so we're direct.
Sure.
We're direct lenders. Like, I will do the loan first, and then I'll try to backfill it with investor money. So I'm not out there trying to find somebody to place the loan, and I don't have to like source out people with different criteria. I know what my criteria is, and plus I'm not just working off points. Usually brokers get a couple points and then they give it off to somebody else.
Sure.
I stay in the deal. I get the points and I get the interest. And if I sell somebody a piece of the loan, maybe they're getting 10%, but I'm getting the spread, which is 13 or whatever the difference is. So that's the difference between being a broker and being a direct hard money lender, basically.
That makes total sense. I'm glad you gave some clarity there. So now tell us a little bit about, like, what was that moment for you? Was it because you were investing and someone asked you for money, you realized, oh, my money can work for me and I don't have to spend any time once the thing's done? Was there a specific moment or experience that you had where you decided, like, this is what I'm going to do now primarily?
Yeah, I mean, it started
If you're looking for consistent, high-quality leads, look no further than Investor Machine. Investor Machine isn't just another agency. It's the most sophisticated, data-driven lead generation company on the planet for real estate investors, and serves the role of being not just a lead generator for your business, but a marketing partner that is helping you achieve your goals along the way. Go to investormachine.com to learn more and schedule a call with our team today.
$12 or $15 ago, where I had some IRA money in a Roth IRA, and I'm trying to figure out what to do with it. And so I just started asking around if anybody needed to borrow money, and it's pretty quick. Some people said, "Yeah, I need to borrow money." So I loaned money out of my IRA, and I just did a few of those deals, and it went really well. It's pretty smooth. I got an attorney to paper up the documents and all that. Not a big deal. And then I did that for maybe 10 years. And then I decided I want to get more serious and turn it into a business, because it wasn't really a business. It was kind of like just a kind of a side thing when I was flipping houses and running my business and all that. And so I found somebody who's really good at it. They kind of showed me how to really make a business out of it, how to sell loans, because I was my own money. I had no idea how to sell loans to other people or how to fractionalize. Mm-hmm. Like I could loan somebody $100,000. And then I could say, "Oh, you got 50,000? All right, well, I'll give you half of this loan and I'll pay you 10%. And now I own 50,000, you own 50,000. And when a check comes in, for the payment, we'll split it in half. I'll hold out my fees and I'll give you the 10% or whatever." So I had to learn how to do it, how to paper it up and all that stuff, and then how to run a decent hard money lending business. And so got serious about it a few years ago, but it just starts off very organically. You just ask people around you. If you're a real estate investor, lots of guys that need capital, right? And then you start small and kind of work your way up.
Right. How important is it for people to have a relationship with you before you loan them money, or what are some of the criteria that you look for when you're analyzing a deal to see if it's going to be the right fit for you?
Not at all, because I loan money to people all the time I have never met before, and I never meet them. Most of the stuff is done online, but we run credit. We do a lot of sub 600 credit scores, but we look at the reason for low credit. If it's they have a lot of debt, carrying a lot of debt with their rentals and stuff. That's one thing. Or if they just don't use credit, all cash, that's another thing. But if people are chasing them for money and payments, well, that's a totally different thing. We don't want to deal with those people.
You got 3 accounts in collections, 4 repos.
Yeah. We don't want to be in line to chase people for money. So we're looking at that. But we do a lot of people, 580, 550 credit score, but there's a reason for it. And so those are people that come to me and will pay the higher interest rates. But it's really the deal. Most lenders want to stay in a deal like 65, 70% of the value of the property. And so we look at the deal. Is it a good deal? Is there a good exit plan? Do they have an exit plan? Like if your exit plan is to rehab a property and refinance me out of the deal in a year, but your credit score is 500, that's not a good plan, right? So, but if it's to sell it and you're into it right, and we could tell you have a good construction budget, you bought it right, and you have a good plan to fix it up and sell it, and maybe you've done 3 or 4 of these before, that's what we're looking for. We're looking for a good plan, good property, good borrower. That's really it.
Are there any immediate red flags that you look at when somebody comes to you that you're just like absolutely not giving somebody money? Like what are some of those red flags that maybe might not even be like a typical thing, like a credit related issue?
Yeah, not so much credit, but people just don't know what they're doing. Like they've never flipped a house before, and they bring it in their construction budget. It's $20,000, but it's a gutted house down to the studs. Just the obvious signs. You don't know what you're doing, dude. So, there are signs. There are signs that somebody is going to screw something up royally. And we don't want to set people up for failure. We don't want to set people up for. We want to make sure that they. And a lot of people think the hard money lenders want to get the property. They want to take it back, and they want to we don't get the property. We have to take it through sheriff's auction. It takes 9 to 12 months. If somebody files bankruptcy, it could take take longer than that. We really don't want the property. We want the cash flow.
If you're a new or newer real estate investor looking to launch or grow your real estate investing business, please check out Investor Fuel Club. It's a coaching community, but unlike anything you've ever seen before. And you can actually partner with members of our mastermind from coast to coast on deals right in your market. There's no better opportunity to build a consistent business than to literally partner with pros to help you avoid costly mistakes, avoid the need for capital to do deals, and help you eliminate your fears as you're starting your business. Learn more about Investor Fuel Club at investorfuel.com/club.
And so when you're dealing with investors, like if I do a loan and I place a deal with an investor, he wants that monthly cash flow. He's probably somebody, a retired dentist or something. He wants to see that check every month. He didn't want it to stop for 9 or 12 months while we're pursuing foreclosure. So we do not like taking back property. That's why we really underwrite these deals, because we don't want to set people up for failure. So sometimes you think we're being hard asses or we're being a pain in the butt. We're not giving you what you need, but we're really trying to protect you from yourself. I'm an investor. I've flipped hundreds of houses. I get it. And I can spot a bad deal from a mile away. If you overpaid for a house, if you bring me a deal and you say, oh, this thing's worth $150,000. Well, how do you know that? The realtor told me. The wholesaler told me. Well, like, dude, no. You got to do your own. Let's run some comps. So I'll jump on Zillow and look it up and go, nothing in that neighborhood is sold in the last year for over like $80,000. This is not a $150,000 house. So just stuff like that. Just obvious.
Yeah, it's so funny. I was interviewing someone else recently within the past couple of weeks when you said that, and they said that's exactly how their first property went, is they bought it, thought it was going to be like $30,000 rehab because the house was gutted, and it turned out to be like $80,000. And they thankfully bought it really well, but that is a huge mistake people do make. And I think a lot of that's just because like most people getting into it don't have a construction background and don't realize how in the last even just 5 years, materials have doubled, right?
Yeah.
Because of production issues. So it's like, you used to be able to get boards OSB for $30. Like right now, I think they've came down, but they're like $90, $95 depending on where you're at in the country, right? So if you got to replace a roof, that cost is now tripled if there's wood rot,
Yeah, that's why we get the most people that just don't know what it costs to rehab a property. First time deal, they way underestimate the cost to bring that property up to. We look at the ARV. Is it going to be a rental or is it going to be you're going to try to sell it for top dollar? And so there's a rental budget for fixing a house up, and then there's we're going to really shine this thing up, make it pretty, and sell it. And there's a budget for that. And if the ARV does not match what their construction budget is, that's something else. I think we're kind of like coaches. We try to coach people along. Like you really, when you work with us, you get a coach. We're going to try to keep you out of trouble. We're going to look at your construction budget. And we're going to try to guide you along. We want you to be successful. If it's your first deal, a lot of deals we could loan you money on, we could make really good money and you will not make any money. And we try to stay away from that because we want you to have a good taste in your mouth when it's all said and done. Bring us another deal. But if you get burned on your first deal and we make money and you don't, you probably get out of business,
Yeah. 100%. I love how you said that, because really anytime you're in B2B sales that has somebody doing something in order for you to also make money, you automatically by default become a business coach to an extent. You are automatically a consultant at that stage. So I owned a marketing company for blue collar companies, and like in order for the stuff to work that I did for those businesses, they had to have X, Y, and Z that I didn't do set up properly too.
Yes.
Right? So it ultimately came into more of like, here's what you need to do over in this area as well, so that way this will work for you, right? So tell me this. With that being in mind, like having a coach, I know you mentioned like pre-show, like you're in a mastermind, like things like that. Like how important are those things? Did getting involved in a franchise model allow in the beginning of your real estate journey help you shortcut or circumvent some otherwise new mistakes you see a lot of people making? Like how important is it to have people further ahead than you, coaching you, helping you actually get where you want to go?
Very important. I've always been big on masterminds and getting in rooms with people who are smarter than me. especially if they know something that I want to know. I did it with flipping houses. Home investors kind of helped me out there, but then I joined other mastermind groups. I've got a mastermind for hard money lending. I told you, just got back 2 days ago from Charleston, South Carolina. Bunch of hard money lenders across the country, good dudes, and we all just kind of mastermind on what's going on in our different areas and what we're doing differently and all that. Multifamily, when I wanted to learn multifamily, I think I spent like 40 grand to get into a group to learn that. And, they had the bus tours and teach you how to underwrite deals and stuff like that. And that's where I met 3 of my partners for my multifamily syndication. We met there. And so it's not just about the coaching you get, it's about the rooms you get into and about the networking and the people you meet that you never know who's there that you're going to meet that might change the course of your life. And that has certainly happened with me in more than one mastermind, to where I just met that one person. You get one nugget here, and that you heard the saying, if I just get one nugget out of this mastermind, it's going to be worth it. But you also get relationships that you never expected to get, to take you to a whole. Relationships are so important when you're doing anything in business. That one good relationship can take you so far.
Right.
And it's probably the unexpected when you join these groups. But I spent, hundreds of thousands of dollars on masterminds, coaching, stuff like that, in various areas. I have one for my, I just renewed one for our own medical clinics. And I was in a mastermind group. We meet 4 times a year, usually in Florida or someplace really cool. And it's a bunch of chiropractors and business owners. And I just upped it for 30 grand, just renewed it. And so, I'm probably in
So
more
you still, all during this whole process, you still own medical clinics too, like other businesses? And
Dude, I own in Oklahoma City, I own the largest injury care medical clinic, probably in multiple states around here. We have 6 locations. We have a traumatic brain injury clinic,
no kidding.
surgery, interventional pain management, all that. So, that's really my full-time gig. But
Wow.
I don't enjoy it near as much as I do loaning money and being in real estate's just fun. I love being in real estate.
For
it's always
sure.
been my deal. So that'll be I'm getting really close to retirement age. So when I someday liquidate the medical clinics, I'll go all in on real estate and lending, and just maybe I'll try to start a nationwide hard money lending, program. So
Yeah. But whatever keeps you active and the dopamine firing and is also fun for you to do, so it doesn't take away from other stuff, right?
I was telling somebody the other day, like landing alone is like hitting a crack pipe. I've never hit a crack pipe, but it's got to be the same, because I'm like,
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's the same thing as like closing a deal, right?
if you're buying a house and you get that contract on somebody's kitchen table, you're like, fuck.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I've been a lifelong salesperson, of my own ventures and other people's. And people ask me, like, how long you been in sales? And I look at them and I say, look, I came out selling. I sold my mom with this cute-ass face to give me a nipple and keep me alive. And people tend to get a kick out of that. But, yeah, it's just like, it's that feeling. It's that rush, right? That keeps us coming back for it. I think that's one of the reasons real estate is so addicting. And to your point, kind of going back to the coach masterminds, et cetera, even what you said, people always would say that thing about the one nugget. And for me, it had never been one nugget that I've ever gotten from any of them, because I'm a voracious learner in all avenues, reading, podcasts, et cetera, always have been. But for me, the biggest takeaways I've gotten from, not hundreds of thousands yet, but tens of thousands that I've spent on masterminds, and obviously now being a part of Investor Fuel, is the relationships. Almost every one of my best friends, with the exception of 1-2 relationships that I have, every single one of them has come from being in a room. And I've made hundreds of thousands of dollars in the last few years personally off of being in the right room and meeting one person that led me to someone else.
Sure.
So couldn't agree more with you on that.
On that note, also, I've got a YouTube channel, Hard Money Partner. Check it out. Just for my hard money lending business. But I've just from having hosting that show and having guests on there, I've landed, I mean, it's almost like masterminding. You get
Mm,
to meet and talk to people you wouldn't normally talk to. But I
right.
mean, one deal wanted me building 2 industrial buildings, flex space buildings with a builder.
Right.
And, one we've already sold, made really good money on it. Another one, that just came from me interviewing them,
Mm,
and so that's a powerful tool too. Start a podcast, start a YouTube channel, start interviewing. So a good reason to like interview people like this and get in front of
yeah.
people. You'll build friends
Right.
that way too.
It's I think what you just said there actually is probably the future of relationship building with people that you otherwise wouldn't have access to, right? Because, for example, if somebody calls you up and says, "Hey, Rodney, I want you to come buy my stuff," you know what I mean? And they cold call you, whether that's like maybe you're a McKesson rep, I don't know, whatever, right? Um, or somebody that's in the medical space, maybe they do medical sales. I think that would be like a good applicable individual. And they call you up and they say that, well, it might take them 6 months, 8 months, 10 months of following up. They might finally get in with you, might finally get in with one of your doctors, right? Whatever that might be. But if they hit you up and said, "Hey, man, we really want to interview about your expertise in this space. Would you be willing to come on the podcast? Get you free exposure, get you to talk about yourself," which most people love
Yes.
to do. And then ultimately, you're building that relationship in that 14 touches of the sales cycle before you even get on the air with them. And then once their episode's done.
Yeah.
So then how easier is it to shoe in, "Hey, by the way, I know that you do this, and I saw that, we might be able to help you with that." And you're already more apt, or you're warmed up to the relationship
Yeah.
because
And it's
everything
so
comes from
totally different.
relationships.
You're coming at it from a different frame. You're not selling. Hey, we think you got something really good going on here, and the people want to know about it. We want to talk to you. You're very interesting. And so yeah, it's just come a different frame, and then you just wind up bonding over these conversations. Usually carries on and stuff. So yeah,
Right.
it's a
100%. So so you have a hard money podcast that you mentioned there?
yeah, it's at Hard Money Partner on YouTube.
Perfect. That's what I was gonna say. We're kind of at that point in the show where if people want to learn more about you or what you're working on, where should they go for that?
Hardmoneypartner.com, Hard Money Partner on YouTube. It's probably the best 2 places.
Hard Money Partner. You heard it here first, folks. So
You
before
can
we go,
reach me through either one of those.
one last final question for you, Rodney, and you can take as much time as you want answering this. If you had to go back to the beginning, not start over now, but if you had to go back to the beginning when you got started in 02, 03, and you could take all of the lessons and everything you've learned in the past 23-ish years of being in real estate, what would you do different and what would you do the same with that knowledge?
Oh, geez, man. God, that's a good question. Um, I'd just say I wouldn't doubt myself as much. I was so full of doubt, man. For probably the first decade of my real estate career, man, I doubted everything, and so I just didn't go all in with anything. I dip my toe in the water, and I do some stuff, and um, yeah, I wish I would have just trusted my gut and gone for it, and probably. Later in life, I started doing the masterminds and getting in the groups a little bit later on, man. I wish I would have started off with that and just getting more education and like investor fuel groups like that. I mean, they're so powerful, man. You learn so much, and you see other people doing stuff that you want to do, and most people are really cool. They'll show you how they're doing it. So I wish I would have probably really embraced that more early on.
Yeah. Embrace it. What would you, if you had to pin that down to a single sentence, what exactly would you have embraced differently?
I would have gotten in rooms with people smarter than me faster, and I
Mm,
would have spent more money on my non-institutional education,
right.
and gotten in those rooms with those people that I needed to be in the rooms with.
Mm, sure. And so the flip side of that question was, what would you have done the same?
Uh, I like the trajectory. I started off like everybody else. I started small with one single family home at a time, and cut my teeth on that, and learned how to go negotiate a transaction, from mom and pop, and stepped up to multifamily.
Mm,
It got more institutionalized, and um, It just kind of started with the single family and started moving into a little more sophisticated stuff. But I like the way I came through the real estate stuff. I think it makes sense. A lot of people just jump right into multifamily or jump right into the bigger deals. I think it's smart to start small and kind of learn the business.
Small and scale up.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's one of the big mistakes I see a lot of people make, primarily in the construction space, actually, but that's where it's at least really rampant is, you'll have a guy that does, $500,000, $1 million his first year. And then he goes up a little bit, does 1.5 the second year. And then he goes from 1.5 to 5 million in year 3 or year 4. And then he's out of business by year 5 because he's completely castrated himself with cash flow. And it's like, you have to start small and then acclimate to the level of where you're going. Because if we were to just jump right in and say, I'm brand new, I'm going to do 150 deals this year. Not that you couldn't, but it's a whole lot harder and you'll be under a whole lot more stress and hiring a whole lot more people and probably lose a whole lot more money than if you just hit 30 or 50, right?
Yep.
So 100% agree with you there.
Well, everyone...
go ahead.
You can grow too fast. I've seen a lot of companies go out of business from growing too fast.
Yeah, success loves speed, but you can't go too fast.
Yep.
Well, everyone, I hope you enjoyed today's show. Rodney, thanks again for being here. If people want to connect with you for more, tell them where to do that again.
Hardmoneypartner.com or Hard Money Partner on YouTube.
There you go, folks. You heard it here first. Rodney Miller. Go drop him a follow there. Connect with him for more, and we'll see y'all in the next episode.
Thanks for joining us for today's Real Estate Pros Show. You can learn more about the amazing benefits of the Investor Fuel Mastermind community, including surrounding yourself with hundreds of other rock stars, 100% financing for your deals, and members-only discounts from vendors you're likely already using that, as a member of Investor Fuel, will save you more than the cost of your membership. Visit investorfuel.com to learn more. If you're interested in joining us as a guest of this show, please visit investorfuel.com/pros to apply. You can also check the show notes for access to free resources, how to get access to world-class lead generation, and much more. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss another episode. Have a great day. We'll see you on the next show.